This is Jack and this is Danny.
Hello.
And this is a YouTube channel where, as you can tell from the way I'm talking right now, we've done no real preparation for. We don't really know where it's going, but we do know the basic premise, which is going to be us telling each other scary stories, or trying to make them scary, and just having fun with it, and a little bit of competition between us. And it's called Ha Ha Oh No.
We either laugh or we cry.
Yeah. I'm sure I'll be crying when I watch this back. So yeah, in fact,
Don't say that.
I think someone watching this in a few weeks after we've done a few episodes will have a better idea of where this is going than we did, because we don't have a clue.
Yeah.
I've just written a story to scare Jack, really, and we're out here in the woods.
This is real.
This is real. Some people try and say that this is a green screen.
But it's woods.
But can you not see that where I poked that tree? Well, that's not a tree now.
Did you hear that?
Oh, that sounds like a sound effect.
Yeah.
Alright, so this is my scary story that I wrote in the space of about an hour while Jack was setting this up.
Don't say that.
Yeah, well, I'm being honest. I like how raw this is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I quite like how, when I say raw, it's just
We can't get
crap.
much more raw than two guys in the woods.
Out in the woods, yeah. It's where are we again? Somewhere in Northern Ontario, probably. Or Yukon.
No, it's too far.
I love that one. One or the other.
So unbelievable.
Alright, well listen. This is all going to be cut, probably. But let's just get to the point. I wrote a scary story today, which I'm going to try and entertain you and Jack with, and possibly scare you and Jack. Yeah, let's get around the fire. Look at that really cool flame effect. Whoa! This is my scary story. It's called Uber.
Oh, I didn't expect that.
Mm.
I didn't expect that. I'm already a little bit taken aback.
That's it. That's the end of the story.
Oh no.
Okay. It was late at night.
And the Uber was early. When Grace checked just moments ago, it said the driver was 10 minutes away. Suddenly, he was here. The lashing rain came to a halt as she opened the door. For Grace, yeah? Her hooded driver didn't turn around as she shuffled inside and fumbled for the belt. Yeah. His voice was distant. She sat behind him. The car pulled away before she'd buckled up, pulling quickly into traffic. His eyes were still set straight ahead.
Grace found herself checking behind for oncoming traffic, a nervous backseat driver. Okay, one of those guys, she thought. That's cool. Some were too chatty. The formalities were fine, but it was 20 minutes to get home, and she didn't have enough nodding and fake smiling left in the tank.
This guy was on the same page as her. She buried her face in her phone. Instagram. Kelly's new hair. Blue. She looks good. A like. Scrolling. The car jolted left. The phone almost went with it. She looked up. The driver had slumped to the left. Grace quickly pulled herself up. He did not. With his head out of the way, she could now see his hands. His black gloves were still on the wheel, still turning left, then right, then left again. All while his head remained slumped against the window.
What?
Are you okay? She asked, her voice trailing off as the car swerved back to the right. An angry horn blared behind. Nothing. The wheel yanked on his gloves.
One of the fingers peeled off from the force. She heard the sound of acceleration. Sir, can you stop the car? I think remain seated, he said. The last word crackled against the glass. Grace edged to the middle of the seat now, fumbling for her phone. Eyes locked on the back of his head, which was now snapped back from the speed of the car. He was almost staring at the roof. She angled to get a better look at him, moving to the opposite side of the car, one hand now on the door handle. The street lamps flickered by, and they were plunged into darkness. Faster.
The lights came more frequently now, each time giving her a glimpse of the side of his face, but each sighting became more brief, matching the pace of her breath. Black nylon-like hair splayed tumbling out of the corner of his hood, fragments of skin poked through the cracks. Stop this car right now, her voice cracked. She tore her eyes away from him to glance out of the windscreen ahead. They swerved round cars that seemed to be standing still.
Their horns were more and more warped. The buildings became a smudge of brick and concrete. She swallowed. Stop this car right now. I mean it. I'm calling the police. She fumbled for her phone. It slipped through sweaty fingers onto her lap. I'm calling now. Stop the car. Stop the car! Stop this fucking car! The brakes slammed and screeched. Her head smashed into the seat in front. On the rebound, she saw him hit the dashboard. His belt almost seemed to buckle him in half. His head slumped into the footwell. Only one hand remained on the wheel now, and only 4 fingers at that. After a moment of silence, sound returned to Grace. So too did her voice. What the fuck? You fucking psycho. You psycho, who are you? She yanked open the door and stumbled back, furiously unlocking her phone. It lit up the darkness. A single lamppost illuminated the hedges around. She knew she was on the edge of town. No edge that she recognized, though.
She went to her contacts. Kelly, Mum, Dad, call. No, not text. Call. She began to move around to the front of the car. At a safe distance, her eyes locked on the slumped figure in the front, motionless. The phone rang and rang. Fuck, she murmured, shaking her head. Then the rings turned to beeps.
She looked at the screen. Incoming call. It was her Uber driver. She glanced at him. Nothing. No movement. She began to move around to the driver's side and accepted the call. Hello? Hey, hello? There was a crackling. Hello? Who is this? The static seemed to grow louder in the silence at both ends.
Who the fuck is this? Are you the one fucking with me? Her breath pierced the fuzz. You have reached your destination. It was him, the driver's voice. She froze. Who is this? This is your driver. You have reached your destination. No, this isn't my fucking driver. I'm looking at my driver. He's got his head in the fucking glove box and he's not moving. Who the fuck is this? He is not your driver. I'm your driver. Grace readied herself and then pulled open the door. She grabbed the hood of the man and yanked his head back. It was solid and hard and cold. And as she brushed away the nylon hair and her phone lit up his face, solid metal shone back. Featureless, cold, perfect smooth steel reflected her horrified expression. The phone crackled to life. He is not your driver. The car rolled forwards towards the dark ahead. Grace watched it go in horror, her hands held up in disgust, her eyes watered. Fear took root and pinned her to the tarmac. A figure appeared in the headlights for a moment, walking towards her, then back into darkness. She could hear the steps getting closer. Calm, deliberate, they seemed to silence the very night itself. The figure stepped into the light, dressed all in black. Wiry, nylon-like hair spilled out of the hood. They lifted their phone up and slowly tapped the screen. The car behind them stopped immediately. Grace, I am your driver.
What the? I did not expect. I did not. Oh, dude.
I don't think
I did not expect that.
What did you expect?
I don't know, but I didn't expect that.
We were talking about.
That gave me the creep.
Yeah.
Honestly.
I'm glad you can admit that. I felt like it was better performing it.
Yeah.
Than writing it down was like, I'm not the best at prose, really. But I do quite like acting, so I quite like acting.
Definitely appropriate to the scene.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's like the headless horseman for the modern day. Am I hitting the wrong?
I think I started it out just because we were having a conversation the other day talking about modern fears that are very specific to this generation and age. And I saw something on Reddit a while ago that just said, in the 90s, your parents always told you, don't stay away from strangers in cars. Don't get into a stranger's car. And now we literally summon strangers from the internet to ask them to get into their car. And what a strange shift that was. So I was thinking about that as such a modern fear.
Yeah.
And about how, I don't know, there's this very, very thin layer of trust when it comes to everything to do with Uber and Lyft and all these kind of new services they have.
But talking about real fears and stuff, a lot of the real fears in today come from stories like that. As in, Uber drivers. Thankfully now there's kind of safety features and stuff. But the early days, dude, you would just get into a car with a random guy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Whew.
Yeah. But it's even.
I want it to be a robot.
No. Well, that's what I was also when I was writing it. I was like, is he going to be a robot?
But we're going to get to that as well.
Yeah.
That's the creepy stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's the thing is like...
We won't have drivers anymore.
Yeah.
It would just be a box emerging out your front door.
Well, that's...
Where's that going to take us?
Yeah. Well, that's what I kind of wanted, because I started out, I was like, oh, there's going to be a creepy android that's driving the car, but I was like, what's even creepier is that I mean, the whole concept of a self-driving car is kind of creepy. But someone at the other end of that controlling the car
Exactly.
is like...
Now that's scary.
Yeah.
Imagine you call an Uber. You're busy, you're getting ready for work or whatever. Uber, yeah, whatever. Someone who's got something against you. Hacker.
Yeah.
They get that car. You're not going to your destination.
It'll be so easy to hack, wouldn't it?
Well, I mean,
not for me.
Not sure we're the best two people in the room to. Well, we're the only two people in the room.
No, look at that. Look at that creature up there that is going to be put in at a later date.
As an hour. But it's true.
Yeah. Yeah, it's terrifying. I mean, like, I don't know. I think it's the fear of the unknown mixed with the fear of AI, with the fear of a stranger as well. Because even like, if that's
an unknown AI stranger.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh.
It's like when she gets into that car, she's already overcoming a fear that most people had a few years ago when Uber first started. She's like, okay, bit of a weirdo, but I'm fine. Like, I've been in this situation before. But then it's kind of like projecting what the next fear is going to be, the fear of AI, and then it's going to be the fear of the unknown or the fear of, whatever. And it's almost like, if I was to like really deeply analyze the story that I wrote for like an hour, like she's at
what we're doing.
she's at where we are right now in society. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like, just the trust, the kind of little bit weird. This is a bit weird, but whatever, I can get past that. And this is meant to be like a projection of where it could go in the future.
But that's a trust that you have anyway. Getting into a car with someone is a big trust. That's why our parents tell us don't get into cars with strangers, right? But like waylaying that and getting into a car with a taxi driver or an Uber driver and stuff, you've already got through that. Oh my God, that's scary. You've already getting into a car with an Uber driver, you've waylaid that fact.
Yeah.
But getting into a car with a robot you can't even see or know, and trusting that it's going to take you somewhere, that's something that we're all going to have to face.
I think
we could just walk, but
yeah, we're all going to have to use Uber forever now. There's no other ways of getting around. We have to deal with this fear. I think, in some ways I think AI removes a lot of fear because AI, isn't creepy or pervy or unless you believe in the Terminator, it's not going to be a murderer. It's just going to be completely neutral. But I think as well, like, the good things about humans, it doesn't have. I don't know. I'm trying to think of a situation where it would. Well, the story that I did would be a situation where like where AI could go wrong. But even itself, the AI didn't do anything wrong. The AI was just being controlled by someone else.
Someone else, exactly.
Yeah, I think that's what the real
that's
fear
the intention, isn't it?
If everything's working as intended, if everything's perfect, it was the 3 laws of robotics.
That's good. That's some more.
If that works perfectly, then everything's fine. But if someone gets in there and sticks a little finger in there, it all goes to shit. Because, sorry, I'm swearing, but I think that's what loads in that story.
You said fuck.
We haven't even decided if it's going to be.
Well, it is now because you said fuck 3 times, and now
you said 5. Twice. Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, I think that's a real scary thing. Is that AI is fine. It's humans that aren't fine. And when humans get involved, that's a scary thing. But
I think we're going to sense a theme here. Scary things are humans.
Yeah.
Robotic Uber drivers.
Most of these horror stories will revolve around humans being scared or scary.
Well, it'd be difficult if there wasn't a human involved somewhere.
Yeah.
Somewhere down the line.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, I was like toying with the idea of like maybe just ending it with some the creepy robot thing. But like, it's the human behind it that I think is the creepy thing.
I liked it.
Yeah.
Should we talk about what the intention of this is? We want to read out scary stories and stuff. Cut this guy.
No, don't cut that out. Leave that in. In fact, replay it now. There we go. Yeah, well, we're planning on doing our own stories like this. So it's going to be me one week, then Jack the next. Just writing original stories, really, because we're kind of sick of reading the same creepypastas and stories online. But obviously we want to do some sort of audience participation type thing. And we were thinking about, you know, if you guys want to send in, what did we say?
1,500 words?
Yeah. If you guys want to send in any original creepy stories, especially if it fits in with anything we've talked about before, or like it'd be kind of cool if they wrote like sequels to a thing, like what if someone wrote a sequel, or something like that, something that, you know, and maybe like once a month we'll just have like an entire episode where we just read out those stories. Yeah, and you'll get your name and your. But I can summarize it all now. What I was trying to say was you can send in your stories to an email address which will be in the description box or in the comment section or even right here. We don't know what it is yet. We're going to make it. So send them in. But for now, like we said at the start of the video, the plan is to just keep swapping stories back and forth every week. This week was obviously mine. I got a 6 out of 10. Will Jack beat me next week? Guess who the judge is for that? You know, you have to tune in to find out.
Is it me?
Could
You
be
judged your own.
It could be you. That's true. I did judge mine first. But anyway, with risk, we're running the risk now of just doing the same waffling out again. So now, let's say goodbye.
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 We've got to blow the fire out. Thanks for sharing our fire.
Bye. Tastes like pixels.